Welcome to another episode of Oscar's Interviews, a podcast hosted by me, Oskar. This podcast is aimed not just at people with visual impairments, but also the wider impaired community, including support professionals and anyone else who might consider themselves an ally. Through conversations with students and support professionals, we explore different perspectives and what this kind of support really looks like in everyday life. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Let's get started. Today I'm joined by Sana, a student who works with Senclude as part of their studies. Sana, thank you for joining me. Would you mind introducing yourself and telling me more about yourself?
Of course, yeah. So I'm Sana. I'm a psychology student and I've been working with Senclude for quite a while now. They've supported me throughout my studies since my undergraduate, which was in teaching, and now again for my psychology masters.
Oh, nice. What year of study are you in? And what drew you to that subject?
So I'm currently studying a psychology, a master's in psychology, which is actually a conversion. So it's one condensed year. So it's quite full on. And what drew me to the role was probably my interest in educational psychology. So once I did my teaching, I realised that maybe perhaps teaching wasn't the right fit for me personally. I did give it a go for about a year, but again, it just didn't align with a lot of things that were going on with me personally, and again with my visual impairment, it did prove quite challenging. But I absolutely love working with children, and I just thought, what else can I do within this field that's going to be just as beneficial? So I looked into some potential careers, and educational psychology is one that popped up constantly. So I thought, let me take a look into it. And then I spoke to some education psychologists from my local authority as well. And again, we had some productive conversations, and yeah, that led me to applying for this MSc in psychology.
Oh, that's amazing. What does the support from Senclude actually look like week to week?
Okay, so week to week, if I'm on campus, which I'm no longer, teaching has ended, but when I am on campus, I would have a sighted guide, and who's also a note taker actually. So she was provided by Senclude, and that again made a huge difference in how I was able to access the course, how I moved around the campus as well. And it was just really reassuring to know that I've got somebody there that I can rely on. So that was absolutely fantastic. Again, she was with me through my undergraduate as well, so it was nice to see her again while I was doing my MSc. And again, I've received support in the form of specialist support workers who provide more, I suppose, catered support with assignments and things of that nature. So that's been again very helpful. They would proofread my work, help me with planning. And that's been again very important, and has made a massive difference, I suppose, in actually bringing my ideas to life, and like helping me do what I want to do essentially.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I've also had the privilege of having a note taker um and a sighted guide, so I completely can relate in terms of bringing your ideas to life and assessing you in that way, because I feel like this is a really important part of studying.
Completely, yeah. I think if you've got a plan in your mind, but you're just thinking, how do I execute this? Especially given that we've, as people with visual impairments or the disabilities, how do I actually bring this to life while being accessible to me? So I think, yes, Senclude have taught me a lot in that way in terms of assistive technology and other softwares that I can use. And that's, again, something I've always, I suppose I've carried through other areas of my life as well. So yeah, it has been incredibly helpful.
What makes the support generally useful to you rather than just technically being there?
Again, I think it's just like I mentioned, I suppose opening my eyes up to other ways of working. So I suppose prior to university, while I was doing my A levels and GCSEs, I would work quite differently. So I would say I relied a lot more on physical text. I was I suppose things were a little bit, it took a lot longer just because of the way I was working. And I think, again, then working with Senclude and the people there, they've introduced me to different ways of working. So I've been using screen readers a lot more, which have drastically helped with how long I spend actually reading journal articles and assignments. And then again, softwares for referencing, that's been incredibly amazing. Again, that's something that would take me absolutely ages, just manually referencing everything. So that's been yeah, really important. And again, just having somebody there to discuss my ideas, and someone that's, you know, that genuinely understands and is also just as eager as me and interested in my subject. And then providing
that must be, I'm so sorry.
That's absolutely
That
fine.
must be really important as well, having someone that knows the subject that you're working on.
Yeah, I think I was quite surprised, actually. The first specialist support worker I worked with, she was, again, a teacher, and I was obviously training in teaching, so that was really useful to have. Again, she was quite familiar with the pedagogies I was writing about, the different strategies, and then just talking to her about placements, and she was providing a lot of support with that. So that was very interesting. And then now for my master's, I'm actually working with somebody that, again, has studied a master's previously in that same subject. So that, again, it's really reassuring that you're actually working with people that have that specialist knowledge.
Yeah, of course. Was there a specific lecture or assignment or exam where it mattered most, like where the support mattered most?
Okay, so I suppose the most recent example would be for I think it was I'm just trying to think of the module name, sorry. It was research methodologies. So in psychology, we have qualitative and quantitative method of analyzing data. So when we did quantitative research methods, we had to use different softwares, and these particular softwares are not the most accessible. So I think then I relied heavily on support from Senclude and the individuals that I was working with to, again, because they had that understanding, it was really reassuring that they knew, they were proofreading it and they actually knew what I was writing about, because as opposed to somebody that wasn't aware of that, it could probably be quite confusing. So yeah, I suppose they were really instrumental with supporting me through that. But yeah, I think coming out of it and receiving my grade, I was really surprised, and yeah, I'm incredibly thankful for the support I did receive through that time, because it was proving quite again challenging for me, due to the fact that a lot of the software we used was not the most accessible for someone with a visual impairment.
Yeah. I'm so happy that it worked out for you, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
How did it feel at the start when you first got the support that you wanted? How did it feel at the start? Were you like, did it click straight away or were you nervous? How did it work?
I think originally, and this is going back again to my first year, I suppose, of my undergrad, I think I was really nervous. I'm like, I think even if you've not got support in place, or if you're somebody that doesn't require it, I think university is quite daunting as it is. It's a scary place. It's somewhere new. I went to a university that was not even in my city, and I was the only person from my friends that did that, so I was also scared. I'm like, have I made the right decision leaving my friends and going to a different university in a different city? But again, I think meeting my sighted guide and note taker, it eased me quite a lot, because I thought I've got somebody there that's always with me. I never have to worry about getting lost or going to the wrong building. So yeah, I think originally, before going, I suppose on my way there, I was quite nervous, but I think meeting her, I did feel quite reassured, just again knowing that I've got that person there and I can rely on them.
Is there any final words, or like, what would you say to someone considering getting the support that you currently receive?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Senclude. I couldn't have done a lot of what I have done without their support. So I'm so incredibly thankful. And for somebody that's considering receiving this type of support, I'd say absolutely take it. I wouldn't think twice about it. I've never regretted it. If anything, it's, again, like I mentioned, it's something I'm so grateful for. And I think, again, somebody that wasn't aware that you could receive any of this support, it's just so reassuring to know that support, when delivered in the right way, can be so impactful and make such a difference. And it's just about removing those barriers and showing people, especially those people like myself with a visual impairment, that there's no such thing as you can't do something if you've got the right support and you've got the right system and people around you. I suppose sky's the limit. There's always going to be people there to support you and understand and make things as easy for you as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I must agree with that, because I didn't know about the support available as well. And
Yeah,
when
me
I
neither.
and when I finally got that support, I was like, oh my God, it's night and day. The grades went up, everything went up.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so so yeah, I completely agree with you. Uh,
Just one more thing, if I can interject.
of
I'd
course.
say one thing that I would like to see changed, and this is not a fault of Sencludes at all. I think this is more so with I suppose, educational providers at colleges and sixth forms, is just to make people aware that this sort of support is available, because I think a university, like I said, it can be quite daunting. So it would be nice for people who have disabilities to actually know that, there is support. I can definitely access university just like my peers. And
Mm,
there are people out there that are going to put this, the right support for me in place.
yeah, you're definitely right. Like, if people knew, I think a lot of more people would actually consider going to uni and following their dreams, but without knowing what's actually available to them, they don't know what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for myself, I went, when I was applying, in my mind, I was planning on obviously doing this all alone, and I wasn't aware of any of the support that that was in place, really, or that DSA could put in place. But like I said, it was such a relief receiving all of this the incredible support, and it's made such a massive difference. Like you said, it's definitely night and day. I think without that support, I don't know where I would be, in all honesty.
That's so nice to hear, honestly. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for taking the time to have that interview with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've asked everything that you could have expected me to ask. Um, and yeah, I hope to have another interview with you someday about how things turned out in terms of finishing the degree and things like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. It was a absolute pleasure speaking to you. And yeah, I'm more than happy to participate next time. Just drop me an email.
will do. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and were able to take something away from it. If you would like to learn more about what we do at Senclude and hear more episodes of the podcast, make sure to follow our social media accounts, which will be linked in the description below. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.